I have on this table in front of me the two most powerful gaming CPUs, according to some, that you can buy, the 7800X3D and the 7950X3D, respectively, from AMD. Now, I've had this Ryzen 9 since it originally released, but after seeing, competitive benchmarks with the 7800X3D, I want to see if maybe I would pick up some gaming performance, as I don't fully utilize all the performance that the 7900X3D has to offer, at least when it comes to content creation. However, my benchmarks were nothing like the benchmarks I've seen on other channels, and I want to talk about that experience because I think that this is super important for people who are trying to make a decision on buying one of these parts. But maybe just as important is this month's giveaway, so let me tell you about that first. Modern games take up a ton of space, so I thought what an appropriate way to give back to the community than giving away a 980 EVO 1TB NVMe. Make sure your motherboard can support this, but the giveaway details for this will be linked down below in the description. So all games today were tested at 1080p medium because obviously I wanted to test the relative performance of the CPUs themselves, and as you go down in resolution and settings, you're putting more burden on the processor, so that's what all the testing was done at today. The rest of the testing methodology, hardware, all of that will be down in the description, but I don't want to delay anymore. Watch these benchmarks, and I'm sure the eagle-eyed among you will notice what's wrong fairly quickly. All right, guys, so did you catch it? If you didn't, it was GPU utilization. Hogwarts being the egregious one with 50% higher GPU utilization on the 7950 X3D versus the 7800 X3D respectively. Now, I still can't figure out 100% why this is happening. Both of these were tested with fresh installations of Windows, fresh installations of drivers, fresh installations of AMD chipsets, power profiles, everything else was completely the same. Now, I have a couple of theories. My first one might be that the motherboard is actually giving more performance to the CPU, or more power more specifically, which is allowing it to take more advantage of the RTX 4090 that's in the system. The other one might honestly be that I just might have gotten a bad silicon lottery. This CPU may simply not be performing to the same level as most of them do, because remember, there is a silicon lottery here, and there are things like this that can actually affect the overall performance that you're going to get when you're benchmarking these games yourself. The other thing AMD has admitted to, that even with brand new installations of drivers and things like that, if you've had a 7950 X3D or a different CPU in your system and you do a fresh installation, it's supposed to get rid of the way that basically all of the different software interacts with this for shutting off things like core complexes when you're gaming. However, you can still have some issues left over, which is why they recommend a fresh install. But even though I did, that might be one of the other things that's actually interfering with the CPU taking full advantage of the 4090, at least at these settings. Now, for a guy like me who plays at 4K, that problem essentially disappears because, as you can see from this benchmark, if you're running at 4K, you're essentially putting all of your burden on your GPU anyway. So your CPU bottleneck wouldn't be the issue at that point, considering that most of the rendering is going to be done by the GPU. So if you were playing at 4K like I am, this would be less of an issue. Now, for me personally, because of these results, I'm sticking with the Ryzen 9. However, it's not like I don't necessarily recommend this CPU. From every other benchmark of every other big tech tuber out there, they've had different results than I had. I think that I'm an outlier. But this video is very important because most people aren't like me, that you have a decade and a half experience of building their own computers, messing with benchmarks, figuring out problems, all those type of things. If you were a brand new computer builder, maybe this was your first high-end machine and you were trying to decide between these, and then you bought this and then you got a similar experience and you didn't know how to fix the problem, that is a big issue. And quite honestly, for AMD's newest 3D cache, that's where I sit. If you are an experienced PC builder, these CPUs are a great option. But if you're not, just understand that there are going to be problems associated with adopting new technology. And I think this video very well illustrates that not everybody's going to have the same golden experience, even if you're paying the money for it. So there you have it, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, leave me a big thumbs up. If you thought it was terrible, leave me a thumbs down. Remember to get subscribed, hit the bell icon so you know when these videos drop next. Enter the giveaway for that 1 TB NVMe if you haven't already. And of course, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.